Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. Today I will be talking about getting back into the swing of the semester, something that is always difficult for us to do. But last Sunday, I tried to be a good little student and print out all my syllabi, write all my assignments down in my planner, try to both mentally and physically prepare myself for school again. But really, there's only so much mental preparation that you can do. Very few, if not all of us, are ever excited to get back into school just because we know that that means less sleep, more late nights, less eating, less doing fun things, just because college, school in general, can just be so mentally taxing. So just to kind of talk about my first week a little bit, I feel like every day my head's just kind of all over the place. I feel like I know absolutely nothing, but yet everything's due at once. It's super overwhelming, at least to me. It's like, oh, I have this class at 4:30, but then as I'm walking there, I'm realizing I don't know what room it is. So it's like little things like that when you've been doing college a couple semesters where you kind of become almost relaxed about it and you don't check on certain things. Like sometimes you don't even know what class you're going to, you just know what time you have to be there. And then there's those other instances where you're walking down the hall and you're like, I just realized I don't know where I'm actually going. So thank God for phones that you can pull that information up on, because without that I would have been very lost or very late. I don't know if this is just me, maybe you guys experienced it too, but I get super overwhelmed in online classes specifically, especially in the first week. I think it's just a lot of information thrown at you, and you don't really have that like secondary security of actually going to the class and the professor, kind of walking you through the syllabus, walking you through the assignments. You're kind of just left up to your own devices, and it's like opening every folder, every tab, every discussion ever created on Blackboard, and it's just figuring out like what they put up, how they operate, what they want out of your work. It's just a lot to handle, especially the first week, like I said. So maybe that's just me, but I feel like online classes are super stressful just because it's so easy to miss something that maybe you just didn't see before. So yeah, really I just spent this whole last week trying to stay on top of things, but epically failing because like in my one marketing class, which this is like my third thing, why do I have so many textbooks I have to read this semester? This is my third year in college, and I have never had to actually read all of these textbooks. It's like 5 out of my 6 classes are like, oh yeah, you must read the textbook. And it's just gonna do me in. It's too time consuming. These things are anywhere from 25 to 40 pages long for a chapter. I'll be honest, I'm not that fast of a reader, and then I don't even retain the information. I finish the chapter or a section of it, and I'm like, what did I just read? So I don't really know how that's beneficial to me. Maybe I'm storing some things that I don't realize right now in my brain, but I certainly don't feel like it. I feel like it's a big waste of time. I'm not really getting anything out of it. But I always, try to do what teachers ask of us. So I guess I'll try it, but we'll see how long it lasts, because as the semester goes on, things get crazy, things get busy, and even more overwhelming than the first week. But yeah, so my marketing teacher, he opened the syllabus Monday night. We had class Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and we walk into the class and he's like, oh yeah, like you do need this textbook that I put on the syllabus, but it also has an access code. So I was like, okay, I will go on and find it. Well, I Googled it, couldn't find it, didn't want to buy the wrong thing. So I emailed him. I was like, hey, can you send us a link to make sure we get this right access code to the right textbook? So he did, and then we didn't have class again until Thursday, but I just bought the book Tuesday night. I worked and went to class on Wednesday, and then Thursday I worked in the morning before his class, so I didn't have time to read the chapter. I just got the textbook. Well, I wasn't the only one, because the majority of our class didn't read the first chapter. We got all upset about it, and was annoyed that we didn't read, and he was like, this class isn't gonna work unless you guys read. And finally one of the kids was like, sir, like, no disrespect, but I don't even have the book yet. I just ordered it. It's still on its way from like Amazon or wherever. And it's totally true. Like, the first week is just crazy, and I think for professors to expect you to have things read like that quickly, or even have the book that quickly, is something that they shouldn't be asking of you. The shipping alone can take 2 days on Amazon Prime. So yeah, something else that happened, kind of unrelated academically, was I bought all these dining dollars on my card last semester. Here at CSU, if you don't go here and you're watching this, what you can do as a commuter, which I technically am considered because I don't live in the dorms on campus, is put, a certain amount of money on your Viking card, and then that money is only good for certain places around campus to eat. So that's what I did last semester, and I had a balance of about $80 that I didn't end up using in the fall. So I thought, hey, dining dollars roll over. Everybody knows that at Cleveland State. When you say dining dollars, they're like, oh yeah, they roll over from the fall semester to the spring semester. No big deal. So bought my textbooks and everything, paid my rent. Wasn't really worried about food right now because I was just going to use that balance. So Monday, after I went to the gym, I tried to buy a Gatorade at the store, and they told me, you have no money on your card. So I'm like, okay, that's not good. So then I went and checked it at this kiosk thing, and it also told me I had no money on my card. So I'm like, great. So I emailed dining services, and I pretty much was like, what the heck is going on? Where is this money on my card? So come to find out a day later is that for a commuter dining dollar / meal plan, if you do not add more money to your card prior to the semester starting, you forfeit, and I put that in air quotes because I didn't forfeit anything, the balance that you had from the previous semester. So needless to say, they took my $80 and didn't tell me. So apparently I was just supposed to know this, and I emailed them back, emailed another department on campus because I was allowed to appeal it. So I did, and I pretty much said, look, this was never shown to me. I never saw it. They never emailed me and told me that they were going to do this. Like I said, everyone on Cleveland State's campus thinks, dining dollars, they roll over. No one knows that there is a difference between being a resident and being a computer student. So luckily, I did get an email just this past Friday saying, hey, we are going to reinstate the $80 on your card. So good news there. I do have my money back, so I'm not starving for the next week or so. So that will be good. But there was just something else I had to deal with in the middle of trying to, readjust to new classes and a new schedule. I think despite all the stress and overwhelmingness of, getting back into the swing of things, something that school does provide, a lot of us that we do enjoy, myself included, is a routine. Routines have pros and cons, like, no, you can't stay up super late anymore, but, every Monday you go to the gym at the same time. Or, no, you might not be able to binge watch Netflix, but every Thursday you wake up at the same time, make yourself breakfast, go to work. There's something about a routine that is both restricting but also reliable and satisfying. Routine itself, I believe, is great, but what I've been challenged with lately is what you put into your routine. Certain things can make it counterproductive, stressful, and even just tiring. At the start of the new year, my pastor at King's Church in Oak started a series called PACE, pretty much discussing, as Americans, why we feel so overworked and tired and restless, feeling like we just can't catch a break, we just can't breathe, we're always run down, tired, not able to give people our best. I highly encourage you to listen to it if you're at all interested. It's super relatable material. But that message has really been challenging me, especially starting the semester, with trying to not overwork myself, not overdo things or commit to too many things or people, and take more time for, me, and to relax and to rest. We all have felt or currently feel overwhelmed, overworked, tired, bogged down. But I think something we can agree upon, despite any religious differences, is that you want more out of life than just barely getting by. You want more out of life than just surviving. I'm preaching to myself as well as all of you out there. I think it's important that we recognize when we feel too committed to certain things, or that we just don't have time to take a break and catch our breath. So for all my fellow college students this semester, specifically I'm talking to you, please take time to rest. And yes, you heard me right, I'll say it again. Take time to rest. If you don't very purposely or very strictly make time for it, it will not happen. I am talking to myself there again. There's always 50 billion things that you could be doing. I know for me personally, something I struggle with is trying to get ahead in my workload for classes, where even if I finish maybe this week's assignment, I'm like, oh, well, I can start on that next thing. But what I'm trying to be better at is to just say, no, you know what? I did what I had to do. I'm gonna do something for me now to rest and relax, and I will get to the next thing tomorrow or the next day. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to always try to work ahead. At least that's the type of person I am, and it's draining and taxing, and it ends up really affecting all aspects of your life. So be intentional with it. Just like you schedule out time to work, to study, to see friends, schedule time to rest. And that word looks different for everybody, but doing something that fulfills you, that brings you joy, that can kind of recharge your battery in a sense, whatever that is for you, just make sure you do it as often as you can and as necessary as it might be. But that process and what it actually looks like is going to be different for everybody, but you owe it to yourself to do that. And in typical fashion, my quote for this episode actually does come from one of the sermons Pastor Noah Nickel did give, and it said, it's not work versus rest, but work and rest. So with that being said, I encourage all of you to stick to a routine, get back into the swing of things, keep yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically happy, and give yourself and allow yourself time, space to rest. Hey, if you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. The button is right down below. And also be sure to follow me on my social media. The links are right here: Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you want to see what's going on in my life, I'm always active on those pages. So thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed shooting this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching it as well.